Hello my friend, how are you all? In today's video, I'm going to react on Marcos Gold, the world's richest country. Yes friend, one of our subscriber, they suggested to react on that, and this is different kind of video, so I was really keen to react on that. So without doing any further ado, let's start the video.
The list of 11 countries that hold the most gold in their reserves has remained mostly unchanged over the last few years. Flip through this slideshow to discover which central banks value the yellow metal the most. 11. Netherlands. 612.5 tons. The Dutch Central Bank announced that it will be moving its gold vaults from Amsterdam to Camp New Amsterdam, about an hour outside the city, citing burdensome security measures of its current location. As many others have pointed out, this seems odd, given that the bank fairly recently repatriated a large amount of its gold from the United States. Number 10. India.
India, definitely. I was thinking
tons. It's no surprise
India
that
would
the
be
Bank of
in
India
this list.
has one of the largest stores of gold in the world. The South Asian country, home to 1.25 billion people, is the second largest consumer of the precious metal and is one of the most reliable drivers of global demand. India's festival and wedding season, which runs from October to December, has historically been a huge boon to gold's love trade. Number 9. Japan. 765.2 tons. Japan, the world's third largest economy.
I never
Also
thought
the
that
largest
Japan
holder of
would
the
be in
yellow
the
metal.
list actually.
Its central bank has been one of the most
I thought of
aggressive
China,
practitioners
definitely.
of quantitative easing. In January 2016, it lowered interest rates below zero, which has helped fuel demand for gold around the world. Number 8.
Switzerland.
1,040.0
It's a
tons.
small country, man.
In 8th place is Switzerland, which actually has the world's largest reserves of gold per capita.
Wow.
During World War II, the neutral country became the center of the gold trade in Europe, making transactions with both the Allies and Axis powers. Today, much of its gold trading is done with Hong Kong and China. Number 7.
China, definitely.
1,936.5 tons. In the summer of 2015, the People's Bank of China began sharing its gold purchasing activity on a monthly basis for the first time since 2009. Although China comes in 7th for most gold held, the yellow metal accounts for only a small percentage of its overall reserves, a mere 2.8%, the lowest of the top 10 central banks with the most gold. China has actually been on a gold buying spree since December 2018, buying almost 100 tons from then through August.
So it
Number
means
6.
around
Russia.
those times they are more richer.
219.2 tons.
Russia.
The Russian Central Bank has been the largest buyer of gold for the past 7 years and overtook China in 2018 to have the 6th largest reserves. In 2017, Russia bought 224 tons of bullion in an effort to diversify away from the US dollar, as its relationship with the West has grown chilly since the annexation of the Crimean Peninsula in mid-2014. To raise the cash for these purchases.
You know, this I have some problem with this robotic voice. I mean, he's saying, giving information, but at the same time, you could feel it's not proper. You understand? It's just a tap that goes in a one flow with one speed, whether you understand it or not. So this is little problematic.
Russia sold a huge percentage of its U.S. treasuries. Number 5.
France.
2,436.1
Oh my
tons.
God.
France's central bank has sold little of its gold over the past several years, and there are calls to halt it altogether. Marine Le Pen, president of the country's far-right National Front Party, has led the charge not only to put a freeze on selling the nation's gold, but also to repatriate the entire amount from foreign vaults. Number 4. Italy. 2,451.8 tons.
That's why these
Italy
Europe
has
countries
likewise
are
maintained the size of its
considered as
reserves
a
over the years,
developed
and it has support from European
and
Central Bank,
so rich
ECB,
countries.
President Mario Draghi. the former Bank of Italy governor, when asked by a
In a way,
reporter
they
in 2014
all have
what
something to
role
do
gold
with
plays in
the
central
Second World
bank's
War
portfolio,
or First World
answered
War.
that the metal was a
So they
reserve
took
of
from
safety,
somewhere.
adding, it gives you a fairly good protection against fluctuations against the dollar.
Oh,
Number 3.
Germany.
3,366.8 tons.
The war,
In
Soviet war.
2017, Germany completed a 4-year repatriation operation to move a total of 674 tons of gold from the Banque de France and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York back to its own vaults. First announced in 2013, the move was expected to take until 2020 to complete. Although gold demand fell in 2017 after hitting an all-time high in 2016, this European country has seen gold investing steadily rise since the global financial crisis. Number 2. United States. 8,133.
There is no list without
With the
states.
second largest official holdings in the world, the U.S. lays claim to nearly as much gold as the next 3 countries combined. It also has the second highest gold allocation as a percentage of its foreign reserves at 76%. From what we know, the majority of U.S. gold is held at Fort Knox in Kentucky, with the remainder held at the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, San Francisco Assay Office, and West Point Bullion Depository. Number 1. Philippines. Over a million.
I was doing that expression and that pig came. I mean, I knew that if a Filipino wants me to react on that, it means Philippines has some connection, but Philippines is the holder of most gold.
They are sitting on top of the world's wealth, which was put into a secret account, and it has more gold
Look
than
at him.
everybody knows about. The assets, it's gold. It's more gold than people know about. It's over 1 million metric tons of gold.
A million metric tons of gold is not something you can just.
Look at him.
So,
He's
where
so
does it
funny.
400,000 metric tons are in the central bank of the Philippines.
Is it true?
There's over 200,000 metric tons in the Union Bank of Switzerland. And some of that gold is buried securely in the Philippines as well. Some of it is held in various banks.
Look at
The
him.
bulk of it is in the Philippines.
He's too funny. Look at his expression.
the World Bank holds a note on that gold?
No. It is in a special trust account that was set up by Ferdinand Marcos.
The Philippines is the richest country in the world. Even President Ronald Reagan knows and said this. Did you know about Marcos Gold?
No. I mean, Philippines is the richest country in the world. I mean, if we look at the gold capacity, yeah, but I mean, wait a minute, I have so many questions now.
In 1930, Europe was in a depression and Germany was financially bankrupt. An unknown party leader promised the German people that he could create jobs and boost its economy. The Germans dared him and put him in power. His name is Adolf Hitler. In June 1933, the Vatican and Hitler, a Roman Catholic, signed the Concordat for mutual protection and enhancement. Shortly after that, Hitler was loaded with money. He built a massive army and manufactured weapons for war. Then Hitler took Poland. Before 1918, there was no Poland. That land was part of Germany and used as a buffer zone to separate Germany from Russia. But when Hitler reclaimed it, England declared war on Germany. Throughout the Spanish occupation of the Philippines, members of the Taino clan have been visiting Europe since some of their relatives were English and Austrian. From 1866 to 1898, Prince Julian MacLeod Taino had also been frequenting the Vatican. In 1934, under Pope Pius XII, the Vatican negotiated with a member of the Filipino royal family, the Christian Taoano clan in Philippines. An agreement was reached that 640,000 metric tons of the Taoano gold would be led to the Pope. This was part of that gold accumulated by the Southeast Asian Empire during its glorious reign of 900 years. In 1939, two members of the Taoano family and a Roman Catholic priest, Father Jose Antonio Diaz, brought the gold from Codicinoboldo, Salta, to the Vatican. After doing this, Father Diaz went back to the Philippines and resided in Cabanatuan City. After World War II, he facilitated the safe return of the 640,000 metric tons of gold from the Vatican to the Philippines. A lease agreement was made between the Taoano clan and the Philippines government. A total of 617,500 metric tons of gold was deposited in the newly installed Central Bank of the Philippines to comply with its requirement for gold reserve. Under the terms of the contract, the Central Bank became the holder of that gold. That lease agreement will expire in the year 2005. Having gained the trust and confidence of Father Diaz, the Taoano clan made him the main negotiator and trustee of their gold. Father Diaz, in turn, hired the services of attorney Ferdinand E. then the highly recommended brilliant young lawyer having attained notoriety when he successfully defended him.
Here comes the part of Marco, right? So here he enters in the whole matter of gold transaction on with the Vatican.
Himself in a now-undistant case in 1939. The Taoano clan paid commission to Father Diaz and attorney Marcos in gold, 30% from the principal of 640,000 metric tons.
Oh.
In 1949, the two richest men in the world were Father Jose Antonio Diaz and attorney Ferdinand E. Marcos. Between the two of them, they legitimately earned and owned 192,000 metric tons of gold.
Oh my God.
Ferdinand Marcos withdrew their share of the gold from the central bank and minted it. Sometime later, Father Diaz and Marcos brought their gold to Switzerland in the Swiss Bank Corporation in Zurich. The remaining 400,000 metric tons of Taoano gold is in the third-floor basement of the central bank minting plant in East Avenue, Quezon City, Philippines. There are 950,000 metric tons of gold declared missing in the International Court of Justice, picked up by Yamashita from its European ally, Hitler. Another 250,000 tons of the Japanese loot around Southeast Asia are both now in the Philippines. This country then became the holder of 1.6 million metric tons of gold bars.
None of the country who are listed in top 9, they are not even near to the Philippines. Not even so far distance. Come on, I mean,
the Yamashita gold buried in the Philippines has been found, but the bulk of it is still buried to this day. And even now, thousands are secretly digging for it, including Japanese treasure hunters. The Wall Street Journal in its November 15, 1985 issue wrote that 2/3 of all gold in the world is in the Philippines. 1/3 is divided among the rest of the countries in the world. Very few Filipinos know this. In the 70s and 80s, blood money from the Roman Catholic Church, channeled into the Philippines via the Vatican Bank and another foreign power, fueled the flames of dissension in the countryside and on the streets of Manila. A concerted church and foreign civil destabilization, demolition campaign was waged against Marcos. All the gold in the hands of one man like Marcos was a threat to those who have been used for so long with so much money and power. Marcos became too powerful and would not toe the line of the two established power in the world, the Vatican and the Trilateral Commission, USA, Germany, Japan. But Marcos was no lapdog to any foreign power. In his grand plan, Marcos wanted to re-establish the former grandeur of the Philippines and the whole region of Southeast Asia, the former Malayan Empire. In June 1983, Marcos appeared before the first world leaders in Toronto. He announced his plan to boost the economy of the Southeast Asian region by creating the Asian dollar. This would be backed up by the 400,000 metric tons of gold in the Central Bank of the Philippines and the other gold he scattered around the region. He would also add to this his own personal 192,000 metric tons in Switzerland. This Asian dollar, backed up by the two-thirds of all the gold in the world that was in the Philippines, would have made the Philippines' money more valuable and stronger than the American dollar. This was his vision to raise Southeast Asia to be at par with the rest of the first world countries. When Father Jose Antonio Diaz, alias Severino Sandaromana, died in 1974, all the 30% commission in gold became legendary Marcos gold. After providing for his family in Marcos' letter of instruction, the whole wealth derived from this was supposed to be given to the Filipino people. This was the Marcos wealth that some politicians and churchmen kept on saying was the ill-gotten Marcos wealth that until today is in Marcos' secret accounts.
Here.
So many Christians
170
in my mind now.
Marcos deposited money on.
170 banks.
Just to show
Look
you
at
the
him.
real
Look at
meaning.
him. Look at his
How
face.
much is 240 million
Mrs. Carlos.
dollars?
No, Mrs. Marco, right?
Oh my goodness. Is it million, billion, million, billion? 240 billion?
What?
Anyone in Mexico?
It's for 900
Belgium bank deposit.
$billion.
You are rich
Look
beyond
at
compare. This will save the world. The world. So, Mrs. Marcos, are you saying you're open to giving some or an amount of this one to the country, to the Filipinos? Not only the Philippines, but the world.
On April 9th, 1973, Marcos said, "My earthly goods have been placed in the custody and for the disposition of the Marcos Foundation dedicated to the welfare of the Filipino people."
I want to read.
During a talk show in the US TV, the week following the bombing of the New York Twin Towers, President George Bush was asked this question, which is the richest country in the world today? With a smile, he said, "The Philippines." Is it real? You decide.
I mean, so many Christians in my mind, you know. I mean, I don't know how to react because this is really shocker. I mean, as video says at the last that what do you think, is it fake or real? So if is it fake, then why people are talking about Philippines is the richest country? Second thing, if it's real, then why Philippines is in the condition in which they are now? I mean, they hold gold that no country can even touch. Then why this is the condition of Philippines? And as Marco's wife says that we cannot change only Philippines, we can change whole world. Then what is stopping them? And I'm really doubtful about the role of Vatican City, about Swiss banks, about Germany. I don't know. I mean, why? Okay, it's okay that world was going into ditch and World War happened and so many problems. So Vatican would have approached them to have some balanced economy, and they helped. that is another thing. But if they help, then why Vatican City not taking a step to put forward Filipinos and make them grow? I mean, it's out of my mind. I mean, and these two people, I mean, the father, the Catholic father, and the Marco, they were considered as the most richest persons in whole world at that time. Then why they did not invested that gold, that money into the Philippines and just kept it in a Swiss bank? That is another question. If they have it, as his wife said that, yeah, it's ours. So, and 170, they are holding accounts in 170 banks. Then what is stopping them to grow Philippines? So in a way, we can question about their thought to make Philippines richer or developed. That is another question. And I'm really, perplexed, or I would say I'm in question mind, that as video says that they wanted to have Asian dollar, which is the most strongest dollar. It would be most strongest dollar in whole world. Then why it didn't happen? So it must be so many politics around. I think those who are developed world, for example, states or British countries or European countries, they don't want this happen. And something happened and which stops them to do that. I mean, apart of this video, I want to tell one thing, that if I talk about India, okay, in India we have, and I'm really not sure about, I cannot speak about other countries, but because I live in India, so I'm talking about India, that the amount of gold they showed just now for India, I'm sure it's unreal. Why? Because India is, religious country. I mean, there are so many religions here, and Hindu religion is the prominent one. So, as far as I know, and being born and brought up here, I know one thing, that India has so many temples, and in Hindu culture, in Indian culture, gold is considered as a most precious thing from God. So in every, I think it's most part of the world, that because I'm talking about India, that in India, whatever occasion is there, if it is birthday, if it is anniversary, if it is wedding, anything, what gift is the precious? Gold one, right? So in India, there are so many temples who are the most richest. Even if we compare with the empires, with the businesses, they are most richest than them. Then what's stopping them to expense that money behind people? I don't understand that. And same thing I'm thinking about this thing. If Marco and the other father had that much of gold, what stopped them? If they really, as video says, that he wanted to grow Philippines, then what stopped? And if nothing stopped, then it means we can doubt about their personality, their thinkification, their dedication. Understand? They didn't want, in short. So I really don't know if it is real. Then Philippines should be the topmost country in whole world now. So why they didn't? what stopped them, this video is real or fake. And as I said, always in my mind this is the question. I'm really in question about the role of all the religious forms, religious trust, religious if it is temple or church or community. I don't know why they don't, because I know Vatican City also has tons of, they are most powerful group in whole world. Then why they are not? And if they are doing, if they are really genuine, then they should give to the people who deserve that. For example, if they are holding after Second World War, they wanted to grow whole world, and especially the European country, they took a lot of gold from Philippines and used, and as we can see, they helped Hitler a lot. So why they didn't thought about Philippines then? And what about Swiss bank? I don't understand it. Even Indians, every Indian big businessman, richest person of India, they all have bank account in Swiss bank. Why they are making them rich? Where you will take this money? Everybody Swiss bank, Swiss bank, Swiss bank. I don't understand this. Switzerland is just, I read somewhere before some months, not months, some time ago, that because of this banking system only, Switzerland is surviving. You know that? Because their security system, the organization of banking is that much powerful that nobody can have any malfunction with the customer account. So that's why people tend to go there. So because of only that banking system, whole country is surviving, because every rich person's account is there, and they are just having money to secure that money, and whole country is getting good money by that. And if all of this is real, what I have seen, then if the family member of Marco is living and they are able to take out those gold or money, they should do that right now. This is a really good news for whole world, especially for Asian region. If this is real, and if Filipino government or the eligible family would take a step for this. But I'm sure these many years happened, these many years passed, nobody took any initiative, nothing is going on. It means they don't. Or we can even question the reality of this video. But I wish this is real, and Filipino people and Philippines get what they deserve. Yeah, friends, so I have said what I'm still in so many questions, so I don't know, but at the last I again want to tell that I'm really doubtful about the role of Vatican City, about the Marco family, about the European country, about the Switzerland, about the American part about this matter. I'm really, really doubtful, because if this is real, I'm sure there must be a big politics behind it. So friend, this is Sen signing off now, and those who are new, I request please subscribe my channel, like it, share it, and I request all my viewers, my subscribers, please don't suggest me always singing video and all. I don't it's not that I don't like it, but I want to react these kind of different videos too. So please send like this also, so I would be really glad, because this this amazes me, this gives me more knowledge, and I can share with the people about these new things also, right? Because so many of my subscribers are from India, so they would also know this reality. You understand? So help me in that to spread the information in the whole world. Thank you so much. See you in another video. Till then, goodbye.